Welcome to AU Nation. I'm your host, Evan Blank, here to bring you the latest opinions from your Auburn Student Media Group. Joining me today first is Noah Gardner. He hosts GH Sports on WEGL 91.1 FM and calls Auburn softball for that station as well. How are you, Noah?
I'm doing good, Evan. How are you?
Not too bad. Next up is Meredith Brito. She calls Auburn softball games for Weagle and also has a show called The Extra Point. Meredith, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me again.
All right, our analysts are set. And now, on to our first topic within Auburn athletics. We start with softball, and that Auburn softball team swept the number 12 team in the nation, the Kentucky Wildcats, on the road, with Florida dropping 2 of 3 against Alabama. Auburn is now tied for first in the SEC with the Gators. What does this team need to keep doing to keep up with Florida down that stretch?
Well, Auburn needs to keep playing Auburn softball, if I'm going to quote Clint Myers here. For real, this team has all the pieces to go the distance just like they did last year, but realistically, Florida is so much farther ahead than all of these other teams in the SEC, and we saw that when we played them in the series. Realistically, what Florida does so well is on both sides of the ball, is pitching and hitting, and for Auburn, they're going to have to be at the top of their game on both sides of the ball just like they are to keep up, and you know, no more series against them this year. They might meet back up in the SEC tournament, possibly even Oklahoma City again. You never know, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how that rematch goes if it does occur.
For sure. And I mean, for me, Florida dropped against Alabama, which means for me that when we face Florida, it's really who's going to have the better day, because Auburn pitching has been doing really, really well, but the fact of the matter is we have to keep the bats going. When we lose games, it's usually because the bats just weren't going. And if we keep them going and we have consistent hitting, there's a chance that we can win the series. But Florida, if they come in playing the way they've been playing, there's a chance it'll be really, really hard for us to keep up with them. So just consistent pitching, hot hitting equals a win.
Yeah, and also, even with that, I think the team would have to have the ball bounce their way a couple of times. And so many times in a series like that, that is exactly what you need.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for them in Kentucky. Rare to get a road sweep like that. Looked really well. Tiffany Howard, Jade Rhodes had really good weekends, as did Casey Cooper. All right, but we moved from one bat and ball sport to the other here at Auburn, and the Auburn baseball team was able to win 1 game against LSU, but still dropped 2, losing the series here at home. What does this team need to do to win the next series on the road against Missouri? Well,
the team is having a really tough time as far as pitching is concerned right now. Hitting is going phenomenally well for this squad compared to last year. They're second in the SEC, I believe, in most offensive statistics this year. And just going back to the pitching side of things, though, there's just not that hot arm that Keegan Thompson was for this team last year. And this squad doesn't have an ace, and that's a problem. When Cole Lipscomb was the guy at the end of the year last year, he's not having as great a season as he was last season. And that's a problem for this team, mainly because when you get into these SEC series, you got to have at least one game that you can lock. And then you've got to be able to try and steal another, at least for this team's case, if they want to be able to start winning some series to get back in this SEC race. But right now, they're in such a hole that this is the time now where they absolutely have to start winning series, or else the SEC tournament picture begins to go out the window.
I agree. And I mean, when we faced LSU, like you mentioned, we had so many offensive runs, but the problem is that we allowed 10-plus runs in almost every single game. So the fact of the matter is that we need to have really consistent pitching, and not just one good pitcher, but we need to have 2. Because sometimes there's been cases in some of the games I've gone to go watch where one pitcher's had a really great game and someone comes in for relief and just gives up the lead. So I think just having 1 or 2 strong pitchers and then being able to hold their stance defensively and not have any errors is what's going to be able to allow them to win a game. But it's really hard for them to come in clutch against these SEC teams.
Yeah, the bullpen's really been a problem this year, and you kind of pointed that out just a second ago, because the bullpen last year was a problem, and this year the starting rotation has definitely regressed also, and I think we're beginning to see those effects now the SEC play has begun to really get into full-fledged action.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how this team moves its way through SEC play in their first year under new head coach Butch Thompson. That is Auburn Athletics, but we turn to the national scene next on AU Nation Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6. We are back on AU Nation, and now we welcome in CJ Holmes. He's a writer for The Plainsman and a former member of the Auburn basketball team. CJ, thanks for being with us today. How are you, man?
Good to be back. Thanks for having me back
We
here.
always love having you on. All right, we head national now, and we begin with what else but last night's NCAA Championship game. The Villanova Wildcats are your 2016 college basketball national champions. They defeated North Carolina on 77-74 on a game-winning buzzer-beating 3 by Chris Jenkins. What are your reactions from the game? Meredith, we'll start with you.
I thought that was probably the best basketball game I've seen all year. I was so entertained the whole time, and it was just so close the entire game. And just when Villanova would pull away, North Carolina would come back, I was thoroughly entertained. But the last few minutes, that was some amazing basketball. 2 championship teams that know how to pull it through in the end, but unfortunately North Carolina wasn't able to pull it through for themselves. But, I mean, just seeing that last Carolina shot being followed by the buzzer beater, I was just stoked watching this game.
Yeah, like you're saying, like who could have asked for a better game and a better way to finish one of the best tournaments in recent memory? I think it just kind of followed the theme of like the underdog, because Villanova isn't necessarily an underdog as a 2 seed, but I don't think anyone in this room would have predicted them to win a national championship this year.
People especially Kansas would have.
Especially against a North Carolina team that people heading into the game, I thought North Carolina was going to run away with that against Villanova, but it was a great team win for Villanova. Kept the theme going in the tournament. Friend of mine, Chris Jenkins, DC native, get to see him knock that shot down, and hopefully, next time Carolina's in that situation, they play a little better defense.
Yeah, I mean, this was by far the best national championship game I've seen, in all of my time watching, and it was just pure basketball. It was great on both sides, offensively and defensively. It wasn't such a high-scoring game. There was no defense. It wasn't such a low-scoring game. There was no offense. I mean, it was beautiful basketball, and you can't ask for anything less when you're talking about a national championship game.
Yeah, other than, maybe that 08 game with Kansas and Memphis. I mean, That's the only one that I think can even come close to this game in terms of excitement. And, yeah, like you guys said, really just the path to get there, beating a really good Miami team, Oklahoma, Kansas as well, in addition to this UNC team. I mean, just a crazy, crazy run. What a great way to end that tournament. But we move on to Major League Baseball, and opening day has gone and passed, and we're into the baseball season. What are your favorite memories from opening day baseball? Noah, we'll start with you.
Hey, it's opening day. It should be a national holiday. I had a great quote yesterday. I said the grass makes my eyes feel good when I was watching TV. I mean, it just looked beautiful out there. I mean, it was so green and lush, and it's great to see everybody out the ballpark. I've actually never been to an opening day baseball game, but I do have to say, just from watching on TV, Jason Hayward's opening day home run from a couple years ago was great when he played for the Braves. I'm a huge Braves fan, and I just, opening day is just the beginning of a great long season. I know some people have a problem with it, but being that long, but it's still it's a wonderful day, and all the action, it's just, you can't tear your eyes from TV.
For sure, and I mean, there's so much excitement from opening day. This is America's pastime, and just seeing Freddie Freeman hit that home run against the Nationals in their first game gave me some excitement about the Braves. Gave me a little bit more excitement knowing that coming into the season, I had a feeling the Braves weren't going to be a hot team, and then they almost won in extra innings against Washington, the Nationals.
Ultimately crippling depression.
No, but I mean, I wasn't expecting that, so it gives me a little bit of happiness knowing that the Braves may be okay.
Hate to be that guy, but the most beautiful thing about opening day yesterday was Bryce Harper's swing. I mean, that guy is incredible. He's picking up right where he left off last season. Like I said, the Mets, that division really gave the Nationals a lot of trouble last year, especially the Mets kind of just coming out of nowhere, with their World Series run. But opening day, it's baseball. Baseball's back. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah. Padres lost 15-0 to the Dodgers yesterday. I had nothing to cheer about. All right. That was the national segment, but coming up next, we play a fun game. It's Firing Blanks. You don't want to miss out on that. It's AU Nation on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
This is a place where it only takes a second to imagine your future. Grasp a new concept in class. Inspire a child's curiosity. Discover a real-world solution. Seize an unexpected opportunity.
There goes Davis!
This is where you gain the preparation, confidence, and determination to succeed. This is Auburn.
Welcome back to AU Nation, and it is now time to play Firing Blanks. The analysts will give 3 trivia questions to answer, and whoever finishes in first will answer the final question, which we call Point Blank. So, CJ, we're going to begin with you. Are you ready?
All right, let's get it.
All right. First question to you. The Golden State Warriors' home winning streak was snapped by this team.
Boston Celtics.
Question number 2. The President's Trophy is going home to this NHL team.
Washington Capitals.
Very good. Your home team. 5 women from this national soccer team filed a wage discrimination lawsuit.
U.S. Women's Soccer?
CJ, you went 3 for 3. You never failed to impress.
Good job.
All right, the rest of you got to make a game out of this. You got to tie it up. Meredith, you're next. Are you ready?
I guess, let's go.
All right. The United States men's U23 team will not be heading to Rio after a loss to this country.
Belgium.
Question number 2. Villanova won the national championship for the first time since when?
2002.
Question number 3. In Tales from the Association, the mighty Los Angeles Lakers lost by 48 points to this Western Conference opponent.
The Warriors.
Meredith, I am sorry you went 0 for 3 in there today. Some tough questions. You'll get them next time. Mr. Gardner,
Those were tough.
Make a game
are
of
you
it.
ready?
Those were way
Yeah,
tough.
man, I'm ready.
All right. You got to go 3 for 3 to challenge CJ here. Question number 1. Syracuse became the first what to advance to the Final Four?
10 seed.
Question number 2. This MLB team is part of history as they played a historic game against Cuba.
The Tampa Bay Rays.
And question number 3. We move to the rink. This year's Frozen Four will have all of the following except for one: Denver, Boston College, Quinnipiac, and South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some drama brewing
Okay.
here.
Tie game.
Bum, bum, bum.
3 for 3 is Noah Gardner. That
I'll
means
just sit back.
we double down on our point blank question. Gentlemen, you will both answer it. We'll see how this goes. Here is your point blank question, gentlemen. What popular move was banned from college basketball in 1967 to be reinstated in 1976? Noah, you may go first.
The Euro step.
CJ, your answer?
Dunking?
Pulled that one out of somewhere. You could tell he wasn't confident, but Mr. Holmes wins the day. The slam dunk was banned in 1967. Texas Western won that NCAA championship in 1966, and that was sort of their style of play. They drove the ball down the lane a lot of layups, a lot of dunks. Also, this rule was changed because of Lou Alcindor, better known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for UCLA, was a popular dunker. So, CJ, you have won the day. I'm proud of you, my friend. There he is. Take a bow. All right. That was Firing Blanks, but coming up next, it's our burning question. We end the show on that every week. It's on the NBA and a little drama going on out west. That's next on Eagle Eye TV, Channel 6.
Each year, Auburn University's Beat Bama Food Drive partners with the Food Bank of East Alabama to provide relief for food insecurity. Last year, we were able to raise 200,000 pounds of food, and now we need your help. We will be collecting cans from October 5th through November 20th. Get ready to help us fight food insecurity and beat Bama.
Welcome back to AU Nation on Eagle Eye TV Channel 6. We end the show, as we do every week, with our burning question, and it's on the NBA this week. We have all heard the D'Angelo Russell saga. Russell, the 19-year-old Laker rookie, recorded a private conversation with teammate Nick Young, a.k.a. Swaggy P, and the conversation eventually leaked. The Los Angeles Lakers are now in the center of attention when it comes to locker room disputes. So if Russell did this to you, would you forgive him? And would you still want him to play on the team with him? Analysts, take it away.
It would take me a long time to forgive this guy. It really would. I wouldn't trust him, and I definitely wouldn't want to play on the same team with him as again. It's hard to talk about because, what Nick Young supposedly did was wrong. But ethically, what I believe D'Angelo Russell did was wrong, and it's going to kill his career because nobody else is going to trust him and nobody else is going to take him. The Lakers want to trade him, and nobody's going to take him because they know that their players aren't going to trust him either, and that's going to kill chemistry. Chemistry is something that is so huge in basketball, and what Russell just did was possibly end chemistry with any team that he could play for the rest of his career.
Like, this is why these guys haven't had a winning season in years. So for things like this, I mean, there's
it's like keeping up with the Kardashians.
Exactly. Like, there's no place for this in, like, an NBA locker room. It's immature. And, like, these guys, these young players get so wrapped up in social media and pressing other people that they forget that, basketball is a job. A lot of people in that locker room play the game to put food on the table. It's no joke, and it shouldn't be treated as such. So would I forgive D'Angelo Russell? I'd forgive him eventually, but I wouldn't forgive him anytime soon. And it's just, you hate to see this kind of things happen in the locker room. You hate to see it happen with such a talented guy because he's really just wasting his opportunity like that. D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young. Nick Young's been in the league for years, and he's another one of those guys that just needs to grow up. For D'Angelo Russell, let Nick Young be the example of how what happens if Nick Young's been bouncing around team to team, and he's extremely talented. He used to play for the Wizards. The guy made shots from all over the floor, but he never got better because he can't get out of his own way. So, if anything, I'm sure D'Angelo Russell's going to learn from this, and hopefully it won't be a problem again, or else he's going to have a really tough time surviving in this league.
That's an interesting point, but I think we also forget that he's 19. When you're 19 years old, we all do dumb things. But I think he's really going to learn from how big of an impact this was on the team and the chemistry that you just can't be doing that, especially when you're on the national level. So I think he's really going to learn from this, but it would definitely take me a while if I was Nick Young to forgive him. He needs to go and publicly apologize and needs to be off social media for a while and prove that that wasn't the main focus and that's not what he intentionally meant by this. He wasn't trying to gain himself some publicity. He wasn't trying to make himself the name of the team or anything like that.
Just a kid being a kid.
Exactly. So I think if he kind of proves that wasn't his intentions and he didn't mean anything by it, I think Nick Young should forgive him.
The thing is, he's not a kid.
He's not getting paid like a kid.
Yeah, he's out on his own now. He's playing. He's got a job. Okay, I can't stand the excuse of this guy is only 19. No, I would not make the same mistake that he just made. Because I know that is a job and that is a huge opportunity. You just took it for granted. You can't do that. And you should know something like that's not going to, why are you recording the guy?
You just don't see things like this happen every day.
No, you don't. Only in LA. Only in LA.
Well, I mean, sometimes what I mean by that is we all make mistakes no matter what it is at any age. Especially at 19, we're all prone to mistakes. And especially him being so new to the game, sometimes it's hard for the young players to realize that they're playing with their idols. And that's maybe why he recorded him, just because he's trying to gain some publicity and he's really just idolizing Nick Young and he didn't mean anything by it and he didn't know the content of the conversation would be that bad. But it doesn't give him any right to do that. I just think he's going to learn from this because he went from being in high school to playing for a national basketball team. Of course, that's going to be a huge culture shock for him.
All right, analysts, thank you for your opinions. Noah, Meredith, CJ, we always love having you guys on. Come back anytime. We love having you all. All right, but that is going to be it for AU Nation today. Make sure you go to eagleeyetv.com for more of AU Nation. I'm Evan Blank. Time winding down. 3 seconds on the clock. Give me the rock because I got ice in my veins. We'll see you next week.